Brought to you by Podcast City Network.
It is time to play.
You're listening to The Everett Lee Show. Let's go! A shot of entertainment to the head.
No doubt.
So sit back, relax, put your drinks up, and enjoy the entertainment.
Okay. Now we come to the payoff. Let's rock.
There, that's much better. Welcome to the Everett Lee Show podcast. Technical difficulty. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing half the time. Welcome, everyone, viewing the live stream right now on the Podcast City Network. This podcast is brought to you by podcastcity.net. You can listen to this podcast on podcastcity.net. You can follow Podcast City Network on Facebook, facebook.com/Podcast City Network, and of course on Twitter @PodcastCityNet. I got to say to my guest, don't you love screw-ups? Don't you love screw-ups? Joining me tonight on the Everett Lee Show podcast is my guest. You may have seen him talk about independent wrestling. You may have seen him talk about just wrestling in general, pop culture, anything. I had to have him. I reached out to my guest, and he said, yes, I'll come on. Please welcome to the program tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Robin Nelson. Am I saying that right?
Hey, how's it going? Thank you for having me on, man.
Pretty good, pretty good. This is what happens when your week gets messed up and you play too much Far Cry. You know? Far Cry 5 came out this week, man, and I was playing it. More like, basically, it's like Assault on Waco starring David Koresh, because the main villain looks exactly like David Koresh. You're familiar with David Koresh.
Yeah, and serving that Kool-Aid.
Yeah, he was serving Kool-Aid. I've been playing that, and I swear, when my other co-host McShaft showed me the video for Far Cry 5, I said to myself, this is a rip-off of Waco. This is what happens when David Koresh is on roids, and he's evil, you know?
Oh, yeah, you got to love those cult leaders, man, especially putting them in video games.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, he'll probably have a sidekick that looks like John Wayne Gacy next, right?
Damn! Oh, my goodness.
Dressed like an alien space clown.
Yeah. I know, it's just crazy, man. It is crazy. And I'll tell you what else is crazy. Actually, I feel like I got beat down by Brock Lesnar with a steel chair, and I was handcuffed. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yes, I do. And you probably had that little smiley face going, may I have another, and another, and another?
Yeah.
Come on, you love it.
I know, man. That's how I feel like tonight, man. It does. It does. Yeah. And this program is going to be just fantastic because we got a lot going on. We're going to be talking about, since I have a wrestling guest on that covers wrestling, we're going to be talking about wrestling tonight. We're going to be talking about Raw, SmackDown, New Japan, Strong Style Evolve that happened over this past weekend, and the WrestleMania 34 updated card, and more wrestling talk. And then, of course, talk about all the commotion with the return of Roseanne last night, which was fantastic. And what Lars Ulrich of Metallica says about the success of the mainstream from Metallica. Some more stuff about Fear the Walking Dead returning to TV. Captain Marvel, a news update on that. And, of course, our guest we have tonight, Robin Nelson. And this is all...
Hell yes.
Hell yes. You want a yes? I got a yes right here on my soundboard for you.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Nice.
Yes! Yes!
Yeah, man.
Yep.
It's pretty interesting being on here on a Wednesday night. Like I said, man, this is going to be a fun podcast. I'm looking forward to it. This would be my third podcast I was a guest on. I feel privileged.
Awesome, man. You're making some waves. You're definitely making some waves, man. And I'll tell you what else is making waves. Friends and supporters of the show. Sports Sanity is the official partner of the Podcast City Network. SportsSanity.com. Head over there and order yourself some Podcast City Network t-shirts available through SportsSanity.com. And our new affiliated partner, Atlantic Sounds, here in Daytona Beach, Florida, off of International. Head over there and find any type of cassettes, vinyls, especially vinyls, and CDs, and a lot more items that you can find in there. Posters, just about anything there. Vintage, turntables, they have it. Atlantic Sounds off of International Speedway in Daytona Beach, Florida. And let's jump into some wrestling. Robin, I want to talk about what you do with Wrestle Pop. Am I saying that right? Wrestle Pop Cast?
It's Wrestle Pop Cast. You got it right, man. You got it right.
That is original, man. So tell me about that there. How did that come about?
Okay, well, how I got at Wrestle Popcast is, I've been a wrestling fan, since I was 7 years old back in the 80s, back in the day, long live kayfabe, and, where they had, storylines and where the heels would stay in one locker room and the faces would stay in another, and they would do their match, but you wouldn't, see them, hanging out together, having beers or whatever. They just left and did their thing, how it is today where you see a face and heel hanging out. It was never like that, man. And,
right.
So Vince McMahon and the internet, destroyed kayfabe, because you got the internet now. So, so what's going on everywhere in the wrestling world. And then, I've just been loving wrestling, and, I started getting into more of the independent wrestling, promotions around. I travel everywhere to different promotions to check them out.
Right.
And I have a friend named Gary. He goes by Eric the Paranormal Fallen. He talked me into starting doing a podcast, and I was like, what, a podcast? He's like, yeah, you should do it because you have, the love for wrestling. So at first I wasn't quite sure, but I got into it, and started going around different promotions, interviewing, pro and indie wrestlers, promotion owners, referees, wrestling photographers, wrestling designers who make the wrestling gear, everybody that works behind the scenes, wrestling fans. And I also talked about pop culture as well, man. I just mix it and be different. I try to be different from everybody else, man. It's a great time, man. Wrestle Popcast is a good place to listen.
It is. It sounds awesome. And one thing that drawed me to you for the fact is that you cover indie wrestling, man. I'm going through your Facebook page, and I'm sitting there scrolling through looking at it. You cover a lot of stuff that happens around the area because you live up in Ohio.
Yeah, I've been living in the Midwest. I've been in the Midwest since '95, but I'm originally from California. I grew up in California.
Oh, okay.
Still go back and see the friends, but yeah, independent wrestling's really big in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, right in my general area. There's so much good wrestling and so much good wrestlers around.
Right. That is awesome. So the scene out in California is different from out here. The wrestling scene out there is different from the Northeast, ain't it? Or it's just about the same?
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, nowadays it's about the same now, but before then, out west, wrestling was where it's at, man. It was more, hardcore, more action, more storyline. Because you had you have Pro Wrestling Guerrilla out there, which is a big mainstream popular indie promotion out in California.
Yes.
And then if you're into hardcore and death matches, you would go over to the promotion Blood Brothers. if you're into the, you know, blood, guts, death match, that's a real big, you know, promotion out there. And then, of course, there's so many different promotions out in California. I can name them all. There's just so many good ones up of northern state and southern state. You know, it's just like, you know, pick your poison. Type of, I mean, you got like Pro Wrestling Hollywood as well, which the NWA has been on, you know, with Nick Aldis, you know, defending the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship belt, you know, on there and going all the way around,
right?
You know, different promotions to defend that title. And the cool thing about it is NWA is coming back. So we'll see what happens with NWA.
Yeah. My co-host McShaft's on the live chat right now, and he does love PWG because I believe it was back in November, we went to Fort Lauderdale for Ring of Honor, and we went down to the merch table, and I picked up a couple of Bullet Club t-shirts for me and my wife, and McShaft picked up the PWG, Battle Los Angeles 2017, man. We watched that, and it was just fantastic, man. Jeff Cobb's a beast, man.
Oh, he's huge, man.
Yeah.
He's dominating the indie circuit right now, because for a while he was up in Japan kicking ass.
Yeah, he is. And that actually, I think he got a DVD or Blu-ray, and it was just a fantastic thing, man. It's just the indie wrestling scene is so huge, and just a lot of stuff's going on. I mean, for example, Cody Rhodes has proved that you could be successful without the big WWE machine behind you. And he's proved that, and all these other wrestlers have proved that they can be successful, and they have a big, strong fan base, man. They definitely do, you know?
Yeah, and I totally agree with you, too. And that's just like the Young Bucks, man. They're making so much money in the indie circuit, they really don't need to, you know, be in like Ring of Honor, or WWE, or New Japan, man. They can just go around and do their own thing and make good bucks, man.
Yeah.
That's another prime example, just like Cody, like you said about Cody Rhodes. Also the Young Bucks, man.
Yeah. They could just go around and they could be successful. Yeah, Young Bucks, Cody Rhodes, and a lot of the indies. I think WWE has seen a lot of these guys and a lot of the talent that's huge. And hell, they signed Ricochet. You know, he's going to be in. You know, he's in NXT, and next here in the next couple of weeks, he's going to be there at Takeover, Louisiana. You know that he's going to be debuting. Oh,
he's gonna be great, and don't forget he was also Prince Puma for a while over at Luchador Underground Wrestling as well.
Yeah, he definitely.
He wore the mask. Yeah, that whole WrestleMania weekend down in New Orleans is going to be just awesome down there. I mean, there's going to be so many promotions down there as well besides WWE, man. You're going to have like Rise Wrestling down there. I mean, everybody, any indie promotion you follow is going to be down there doing a show. So that's like wrestling nerds and marks heaven, man, for that whole weekend of wrestling all around your face. And then having fun partying and getting drunk on Bourbon Street.
I know. It is. It's just gonna be crazy, man. It definitely is. Now, with you going to you go to a lot of events. I was looking on your Facebook there. You got to meet quite a bit of people, man. I seen a picture of you there shaking hands with Shawn Michaels. You went to a convention just recently, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I went there and met Chuck Norris, and I got to meet Trish Stratus and Rey Mysterio Jr. Trish Stratus was on my bucket list. She's my favorite, female wrestler of all time and stuff. And when I finally met her, I was such a big mark, man. I was acting like a little boy. I was like, hi,
I would be too.
Speaking a foreign language.
I would be too.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, I met in in August of 2015, me and my wife went to SummerSlam up in New York, and I got to meet Paige and Seth Rollins. I was like, wow.
Oh, Seth Rollins must have been cool. I met Paige. Mm-hmm. Paige was really, really cool, man, when she was doing something before she started, fucking up, Excuse my language.
That's okay. Yeah. She was doing good until actually she started messing up there. She definitely did. I mean, yeah, she got away from Alberto Del Rio, thank God, because that right there, that was horrible. And it's just you over this. I guess when I reached out to you over the weekend, you were over at Big Time Wrestling. How was that?
Yeah, it's Big Time Pro Wrestling over in Circleville, Ohio, and it's run by a legend in the wrestling business, Bobby Fulton, part of the Fantastics back in the day, and his son Dylan runs it, and he does it like the old school days, where the heels never come out. They stay in the locker room and the baby faces come out, and he has a lot of great wrestling talent. He gets a lot of legends that come and wrestle. He was in 2 bloody hardcore matches with franchise Shane Douglas. One was just a regular hardcore match, and then the next time they were in a steel barbed wire match, got all bloodied up. And then he was in a ring this past weekend when you were, contacting me to come on your show. Mm-hmm. He was wrestling the Pit Bull, Gary Wolf, and he had a 3-part, death match. The first match was a dog collar match, which was pretty good. That was interesting. And then next, they went out in the parking lot, was beating the crap out of each other. And then the third time is whoever gets bloodied up and, falls, half passes out, gets carried away on the stretcher. Bobby Fulton, he still has it. And he brings a lot of old wrestlers in. He's brought in Raven, Sabu. He's brought in Stan Hansen. I can name you several. I mean, it's a great promotion. I love, Big Time Pro Wrestling, and he's getting ready to finally retire. So he's doing a tour of retiring out of the ring. So I can't wait to see his final match. He's going to bring his old tag team partner from the Fantastics, his son, in, and they're going to wrestle one more time against a popular indie tag team, the 5 Most Wanted, Cody Hawks and Cody Hawk and Sean Casey, the 5 Most Wanted. So that's going to be like a tense, epic match.
Wow. That's fantastic. I know Big Time Pro Wrestling came down here to Daytona, and one of the problems they had to cancel the event was for the fact that they didn't sell enough tickets. They had, here in Daytona, Kevin Nash. He was going to be there. Tommy Dreamer, Sean Hurricane Helms was going to be there, and they couldn't sell enough tickets, so they canceled it. They also tried to get a hold of the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, who has a tiki bar here in Daytona, and they tried to get him, but he was already booked up doing something else. So, yeah, I was going to go, but as soon as I heard, they said, they canceled it because they didn't sell enough tickets. I was like, damn, man, that sucks.
No, it's sad. I think the reason why they probably didn't, is probably, it wasn't the right time for them to go down there, or maybe, because most people nowadays are up with, WWE and all the new wrestlers, so half of the young people nowadays don't even know who all these legends are. They're like, why should I, go to something that I don't know who they are? And, and these guys are like, I'd rather see something new and fresh, Right. I mean, there's nothing wrong with seeing new and fresh stuff, but it's also kind of cool to see wrestlers from back in the day. I mean, they still can get in the ring and take on the young guys as well. Oh, yeah. But, like you said, Big Time Prime Wrestling, it always does good up in the Midwest, man. Up in Ohio, they always sell tons of tickets.
Yeah, it's just Florida here. In Florida, there's so many territories. It's basically just territories after territories here in Florida, especially Central on the East, Central, and the West Coast towards Tampa and stuff. There's like so many promotions over towards Tampa and so many towards in Orlando and outside Orlando and even here at Daytona. There's one that's like 2 minutes away from where I'm at called Go Wrestle, and it's run by, if you remember him from Impact, the Freak, Rob Terry. He runs it.
Yeah, I know who the Freak is. Yeah. Also, QT Marshall and Glacier have a they have a training facility down there as well. No, that's in Atlanta. They got one in Atlanta. They're starting up too, where they have, connections with, in WWE and stuff, and most of their talent has went up to NXT and all that as well. I believe it's called Force One Wrestling. I may be wrong. I know it's like F1 Wrestling. So, but yeah. And I like how you brought up territories. A lot of people don't know what territories are or outlaw,
outlaw
promotions and stuff.
Yeah.
That was different from...
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, the Outlaw. I didn't know what Outlaw Wrestling was until I listened to Jim Cornette's podcast and he explained it, and I was like, oh, okay. I was like, what the heck's an Outlaw promotion? Because you know how Jim Cornette, when he goes on a rant, he goes on and he was talking about, I love hearing the stories he talks about territory days, especially when he brought up Outlaw Promotions. I was like, what the heck's an Outlaw promotion? It's run by a bunch of, redneck cowboys or something, but no, he explained it, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and then those outlaw promotions, you can get away a lot more than a territory too. So whatever happens, those are great, and I'm glad you know about territories and outlaw, man. That's cool, man. I have to give you a virtual 2 sweet for that, for you knowing that.
Thanks, thank you, appreciate it. Now, one territory that I guess we were before we went on, and you were talking about Tommy Dreamer and an organization that he's a part of. Could you tell me more about that organization?
Yeah, he's going to be bringing Hustle Hardcore to it. It's called Wrestling for Warriors. It's a great organization. It's an organization that helps and gives smiles to kids that have disability, life-threatening illnesses. They bring them to the promotion, and they can watch great wrestling, and they meet big names, like Tommy Dreamer, Angelina Love, any top name from pro and indie always show up to give these kids a good show. They also go visit them in the hospitals for the kids that can't come. I mean, it's great, and the executive director, Christopher Hoyt, who runs it, decided to do it because he had a son named Chase that died of cancer last year. And then before Chase, was, diagnosed, he was telling his dad, he's like, something, Dad, since I got to meet, John Cena and Roman Reigns and everybody, why can't we do something for the kids that have, a threatening illness and stuff, and make them smile as well? So he said, okay, let's go start it. So he started it, and it's going on its 4th year. And, it's really great. And Tommy Dreamer's been a part of it as well. And since his House of Hardcore's filmed on Twitch, TV, they're going to put Wrestling for Warriors on there, so people around the world, the United States, can find out about this great, organization and stuff, and go check out some great wrestling as well. And then also, giving donations and, making all these sick kids happy, man.
Yeah.
Just to see some good wrestling.
It is, and I'm glad that they do that, and bring these kids in and just let them see some fantastic, awesome wrestling. That is really, really great and awesome and special. I love it, man. I definitely do love it. I definitely do. And it sounds like you are a wrestling fan. You are. I'm a wrestling fan, and one thing that we do watch is Monday Night Raw. And do you of course, it's like in some ways it's like nowadays I'm afraid to say is like, yeah, watch Raw because of how the product is going about and everything, but we do keep up with it. You keep up with the current product, right?
I keep up with the current product. Yeah, don't get me wrong. It's just not the same how it was back in the like 80s, early 90s, early 2000s. I keep up with the product. I like to see what's going on over there. I don't watch like the full Raw show. I'll just catch the clips, or I'll pop on and check out a favorite wrestler on there that I keep up with. But it's all right. It's just lacking. It's just lacking storytelling. It's just like the house of recycled ideas. It's like you don't have any originality, and there's like writers that can't even write, and it's like, all right, we've seen this before. Why do we have to see this for like the 20th time? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's like this right here. I got a clip for that right here.
But you know and I know that you only half the man that I am, and I have half
That's
the
awesome.
brain that you do.
Yeah, that's how creative is right now. Because one thing is, because joking about Brock Lesnar beating up Roman Reigns. How many years?
He's been doing that every week.
I know. How many years have they been trying to put him over? How many years have they been trying to put Roman Reigns over?
Forever.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Not.
Roman Reigns is not a champ.
No. The people don't want him. The people don't want him. Now, if he was a heel, he'd be the biggest heel because of the response he gets when he comes into the arena, And when he comes in there, I hate to say it is, I hate how we got Kevin Dunn in the production truck basically piping the audio where you don't hear all those boos and trying to bring more cheers out. And it's like, it's not working, man. Lesnar got more cheers for beating him up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny too. And let's get into Brock Lesnar, man. Okay,
Yeah.
You're a part-time Universal Champion. Why do we have a part-time Universal Champion, man? We need a Universal Champion that's going to fight every week. We don't want to get somebody that gets paid good money, shows up here and there for a pay-per-view, and that's it, and takes off with the belt.
No.
I mean,
No.
why does WWE make Brock Lesnar a part-time champion? They need a full-time Universal Champion, in my opinion.
Yeah, they definitely do. It's like Brock is just. It's like, is Brock going to be leaving or is he going to be staying? Because they're not really being truthful or really saying anything about that. Do you think Brock Lesnar's going back to UFC? Because if he does, then we know at Mania that he's going to drop the belt to Roman. But if he stays, what's the heck is going to happen? What do you think?
This is what I think. I mean, this has been stirring a rumor, but there's another rumor that's added on to it too. Paul Heyman's contract is up as well as Brock. And what the rumor I'm hearing is, if Brock does leave to go fight at UFC, Paul Heyman, this is a rumor, Paul Heyman said when his contract's up, he's going to go ahead and leave the WWE as well.
Really? Wow.
Yes. That's the big rumor that's going around right now because his contract is up the same time as Brock's. And this is what I think. I may be wrong. This is my prediction. Mm-hmm. I think Brock Lesnar is going to drop the belt and give it to Roman, unfortunately. And I think he's going to go and do one more fight in UFC. And I think Paul Heyman's just going to leave WWE. That's just my opinion. I may be wrong. It may be totally different. We just don't know. But that's what I think what's going to happen.
Yeah, I heard some stuff that probably that Heyman will end up staying with WWE. He'll stay. Lesnar will go back to UFC, and with Lesnar going back to UFC, it's like, what are they going to do with Paul Heyman? Well, apparently what I heard and what I've read is that they may put him with another UFC fighter. And
You're talking about Ronda Rousey. I heard about that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to push her as well. I'm kind of glad Ronda's there. She's still a little green. I'm going to give her a chance. But when you see in her ring, it's just like she's just like stiff in the ring, and she just doesn't know how to talk on the mic. She doesn't know how to do facial expressions. How to get the crowd riled up.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what's going to happen to Ronda. They're pushing her really big too.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
we'll have to find out and see what she does. Because right now she's green in the ring,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like real stiff. She's stiff in the ring. So we'll find out, and I hope she gets better in talking on the mic, because she's boring talking on the mic.
She is. But if they stick her with Paul Heyman, he cuts the best promos. He could basically sell a ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves. That's how great Paul Heyman is when he's on the mic. And if they put those two together, think of how much he can rub off on Ronda, and her mic skills would improve, definitely. And you've probably already seen that a lot of people's already harsh on Ronda because of the fact, she's this. It's like this is all new to her. Okay, if it was like real punch, real, oh yeah, she had no problem with it. It's just her learning how to do everything, and it's like adjust to it. Okay, adjust how to hit and how to do everything and stuff. It's like CM Punk. He had a hard time adjusting there for a while after he got out of wrestling into UFC. It's like, oh, I can actually hit, And
I'll give you another good example too. Let's put AJ Styles in it as well.
Mm-hmm.
For a while, it took him time to get onto the WWE programming as well, and he's gotten really good on the mic now, and he's been doing better performing the WWE program compared to when he wrestled like in Japan and the Indies as well.
Yeah.
He's doing good now. He's like the heavyweight champion. Something? I'm going to give Ronda Rousey a chance, because she's learning. It's something totally different from her. And and like I said, that of course you're going to have a lot of haters on her and stuff. That's normal for anything. But something, I'm going to give Ronda a chance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm definitely going to give Ronda a chance. I definitely am. Are you there? Oh, looks like the call dropped, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like the call just got dropped, and he should be calling back. Actually, I should call him back here. Let's see what happens.
Hey, did we lose connection?
Yes, we did. The call dropped.
Oh my gosh! Right during the show, I know I was talking. We were talking about Ronda Rousey, and I was like, "Hello."
I know. Hello? I was too. You went quiet there for a minute. I'm like, "What? Okay." I was like, "We dropped the call." Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't pay the phone bill today.
Yeah. Hey, I'm sorry too, and I know my cell phone paid. It's already paid, so I know. It's that damn technology. I'm telling you, technology, man.
You mean like this?
We're sorry.
Yeah.
Your
I
call cannot
apologize.
be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again.
What? He was saying something about Ronda, and all of a sudden, you don't hear nothing.
I know. It's just crazy. But I got you back. I called you back.
Cool.
I definitely agree with everything you're saying, and I'm willing to give Ronda a chance. One thing I'm really excited about is the fact that, to me and to a lot of people, the face of WWE is back in the ring performing, or is going to be performing. We saw a little bit of action this past last Tuesday night on SmackDown. Talk about Daniel Bryan, man.
Oh, I like that challenge he called out.
Yes.
It's going to be him and Shane taking on, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be good. I'm looking forward to seeing Daniel Bryan finally back into the ring.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what he can do because he's been a long time. He hasn't wrestled, and he's going to be like a little rusty when he gets to the ring. Let's just hope he's training right now to get the rustiness out to put on a good show, when him and Shane take on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Mm-hmm. When he took off his blazer last night and he got into it, cutting the promo on Owens and Zayn, his arms, man, he still looks good for not being in the ring for a while. And I think him taking 2 years, not doing anything for 2 years was perfect because it reminds me of Shawn Michaels. Remember when Shawn Michaels had that injury back in '98 in the casket match with Taker?
Yep, he took some time off. I do remember that. I remember watching that too. Yes.
Yeah, he didn't do nothing in the ring for 4 years. His body was well rested, and when he came back and started that rivalry with Triple H, that was fantastic. And he had more, he showed he still had more matches in him after that, and it was just fantastic. Daniel Bryan hasn't done nothing, competed in 2 years. His body and everything is good, and they're going to keep an eye on him just to make sure that nothing does happen, which I think is great because they know right now, and I'm glad because they cleared him because I think they know where they're at with the ratings on, especially like on SmackDown and just in Raw, just with the company in general. It's like clear him, bring him back, he will draw people back,
Yep, and then, it will. I will draw black back because there's a lot of people that love Daniel Bryan, because when he comes out anyway, people are doing the whole yes chants a bunch of times. They just love Daniel Bryan, and if he starts getting back in the wrestling ring, I can see more people tuning into SmackDown just because of Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
That would be a good example. Say they brought CM Punk back, just say for example they brought him back. I guarantee it that whole arena or wherever he's at would start on fire with all this electrical energy, and they could make tons of money if they got CM Punk back.
Oh yeah. They definitely could though. But Punk, he teases it. But you never know, man. You never know. I eventually could see him come back one day like Bret Hart.
Yeah, well, there's a thing going on. You've heard about, Cody Rhodes and the Bullet Club and Elite doing that whole all-in coming to Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And that's coming, and there's like a speculating rumor that CM Punk may show up at the all-in, ring, because he lives in Chicago and he's from Chicago. And if the Bullet Club brought him in, oh my gosh, man!
Yeah, that place,
history in the making.
Yeah, it would be, and I think a lot of people want to see. A lot of people want to see CM Punk come back into a WWE ring or just in a ring in general. Ring of Honor or just something. They definitely do.
People will be paying for it, man, because they love CM Punk. But now CM Punk is focusing on getting into another UFC fight. And I'm sitting there going, no, Punk, you don't need to go do a UFC fight. You don't have to prove nothing to nobody. Why don't you just come back in a wrestling ring, what you do best, and, finish your career off there and, enjoy all the fans worshiping you.
Yeah. I know. It'd be fantastic. It definitely would be.
Shoot.
And I mean,
bring your wife, AJ Lee, back.
Yeah.
Yeah, standing ovation too. Bring AJ back.
Damn!
I had to throw that in there. My Ron Simmons damn.
Oh yeah. No, you did it wrong. Ron Simmons told me you said it like that, and I remember I was talking to Ron Simmons and he made fun of me. He goes, you don't do damn. He's like, you're supposed to do it like this. Damn! Like that. I was like, okay. Okay, Ron, I got it, dude.
Yeah, he's such a great guy, man. He is.
Oh, and I know.
I'm happy about the I'm happy about the Hall of Fame this year. I'm excited about the Dudley Boys and Mark Henry.
Oh, me too. I'm excited for another one. I'm excited for Jeff Jarrett to be in there, man. What about Jarrett?
I know. Jarrett, who would have thought that? It's like he dropped off the face of the earth, man. You know? It's like, what happened?
Oh, I know. He had Global Force Wrestling for a little bit, went back to Impact, then disappeared again. It's like, whatever happened to the guy? And boom, he pops up into the Hall of Fame. And I can just picture him right now what he did back in the 80s when he did his whole gimmick where he's like, JEFFJARRET. Remember that?
Yeah. I know. It's crazy. I like Jeff Jarrett. I like the WCW version of Jeff Jarrett, man. Walking around with a guitar.
He was great.
Don't piss me off, slap nuts. I gotta put a sound clip of that.
Oh man. I'm telling you something. WCW was the shit back in the day, man. Oh my
It was.
Gosh. Rest in peace, WCW. I still love you. You're still in my heart. Ooh.
It was great. It was great. And they got a pretty good crowd this year for the Hall of Fame, I think. And one of the things is it's cool how they're gonna have this like right before, the night before or 2 nights before WrestleMania, which is cool because you get to see who comes out, who's gonna induct who, and that's one cool thing I like about that right there is who's gonna
Paul Heyman is going to induct Jeff Jarrett.
Oh, is he?
Yep.
Wow, I heard so he's gonna induct Goldberg too.
Wait, no, it was Goldberg. What am I thinking?
Jeff Jarrett. I was like, damn, he's pulling double duty.
Hey, you know something? I feel like a blonde right now. I bet Bill Goldberg.
Did
hey, you know something?
What's that?
I'm up on my wrestling shit and all that, and I just had a blonde moment.
I was gonna ask you, did Brock come by with a steel chair? Did he get you like Roman?
Oh, he sure did. But me, being a huge mark, I'm like, may I have another?
Oh my goodness!
I love the terminology we talked about, like territories, outlaw, mark, everything. There's a lot of people that don't know the basic wording of wrestling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they don't. They don't. It's because of like casuals. The casuals don't know that. The only thing they know is it comes on TV. They watch it. The pay-per-views come on. They watch it. That's it. They don't watch anything else. They don't. That's all they know. They think that's it. It's like someone shows up to like you see a lot of Bullet Club T-shirts, people wearing them. They show up there, the casuals are like, "What's Bullet Club?" It's like
don't get me into that conversation. Don't get me in that conversation. That's a heated conversation for me because you know why? I'm gonna tell you some funny stories, man. I see these people wearing Bullet Club, Young Bucks tees, the Villain, or whatever. When you go up there and give them a 1 suite. Or a 2 suite, which is cease and desist, but I like doing the 2 suite, but I'll do the 1 suite. You try to do that to somebody who's wearing a Bullet Club shirt and they don't know about it, they look at you like if you're retarded. They're like, huh?
Oh, I gotta talk about fans. I gotta give a shout out on the live chat to Podcast City Network's #1 fan, Doug. He's viewing the live stream right now. I gotta say, what's up?
Hey, Doug.
What's up, Doug? But yeah, that right now I'm wearing a Bullet Club T-shirt. When you go back and watch this on Facebook, you'll see the Bullet Club T-shirt I'm wearing. Because it's like I had to grab a shirt and I was like, "What's clean?" Bullet Club.
Oh,
threw it on.
I'm like that too. I got tons of wrestling shirts or Batman T-shirts, and right now I'm wearing the Vigilante Club shirt. Stephen Amell, who also is a little bit of wrestling.
Yeah, I want that shirt. I'm gonna have to get on there and get it. I definitely am.
Well,
what's cool? I got to see him live at SummerSlam that year when he teamed up with Neville against Stardust.
I hate you, man. Oh, I'm jealous. But I got something better than that. I've met him 3 times at a convention, but I never got a chance to see him wrestle live. I'm jealous, you little son of a bitch.
Do you want to just give me a super kick?
Yeah, I'm gonna act like I have Nick Jackson with me. We're gonna do you a super kick party. How's that?
Wow. It's great. I'll tell you what. I wanted someone to give me a super kick when I was hearing the match card for WrestleMania 34. And I mean, right now, the match card, it's been updated again. And now the triple threat for the United States Championship match, Randy Orton, the champion, defending the U.S. title against Jinder Mahal and Bobby Roode. Now you can add Rusev to the mix. Glorious.
I'll tell you about that match. Bobby Roode better win that United States title. Yeah. He deserves it. Randy Orton already had enough titles. Let Bobby Roode shine in glory with his glorious presence with the United States Heavyweight Championship.
I know. Let him win it. But you know what I say now? If Jinder Mahal would win the U.S. title, that would give a lot of heat to him. But I'm looking forward to seeing Rusev win it because he is so over with the Rusev Day. You know that?
Oh my gosh, Rusev's great, man.
He found something.
It took him a while, but he did.
Yeah, it did. If you remember last year, his wife was more over than him. And then here he comes out of nowhere this year with something that's over. He's more over than his wife was last year,
Oh, Lana. Yeah, remember when she was trying to wrestle and she couldn't wrestle with the leg?
I know, man. I know. It's just not good. Not good. But she's still hanging on, But that match right there, I mean, that's been changed. We still got the same card. Now they're saying that Shane McMahon may be injured. I don't know. But
well, the rumor says he is really injured, but I also read something, today. Rumors are speculating he's supposed to be coming back in a week back to, WWE television too. So,
yeah.
So we'll find out.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. What matches are you looking forward to on this card for WrestleMania 34 this year?
Hey, name them and I'll tell you.
Okay, let's start at the top of the list. Universal Championship match. Lesnar and Reigns.
Well, I'm going to have to say this. I'm going to hate it, man. I'm going to say Brock's going to drop it and leave the UFC, and we're going to have Roman Reigns, unfortunately, to have it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm going to say Reigns on that one. I may be wrong, but I'm going to say Roman Reigns.
Yeah, me too. Roman Reigns is going to get the strap. Not unless they pull something we don't know. WWE title match with Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles.
Oh, my gosh. That's going to be the most epic, intense match ever. They've had some great matches back in New Japan.
Mm-hmm.
That match could go either or, man. I mean, it's just good because on SmackDown, Nakamura was playing mind games with AJ, telling him, you're thinking of all your emotions. You're not really serious about the match because I'm going to beat you. That could go either or, but I'm going to have to go for my boy, AJ Styles.
Me too. But I have a feeling that they may give it to Nakamura and see what he does with the title. But yeah, Wrestle Kingdom 10 right there. People who did not get to see that match, they're going to get to see it, and it's if they kind of lean back a little bit and say go out there and do what you do best, it's going to be epic. It's still going to be match of the night to me.
It's going to be historic, man, because those guys are good at putting each other over in the ring as well. Like I said, anything could happen in that match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anything can happen in that match, definitely. And then, of course, you got the triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship: Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor versus the champion, The Miz. That's a tough one for me.
I'm gonna say Finn Balor on that.
Mm-hmm. Finn Balor.
He deserves another title around his waist, because when he had the Universal belt, the first guy to hold that title, he injured himself and he had to vacate it. But I have a feeling he's going to be the Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, I want to see Finn get it because, like you said there with the Universal Championship, but I'm leaning towards more Seth Rollins, but I'm leaning towards him, but I'm caught in the middle there. It's like I want to see Finn win a title and have a run with the title, but then it's like I'm leaning towards Rollins. I just don't know.
Yeah, Rollins is good in the ring and fierce in the ring too. You can't underestimate Rollins either. I mean, that guy can put someone over too, and he's been a great champion, man. I mean, when he was like the heavyweight champion, oh my gosh, he had that forever, man.
Yeah, I know. Then we got the Raw Women's Championship. We got Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss. I'm gonna have to go with Nia on this one, man.
What?
Yeah.
You're not gonna cheer for the 5 Feet of Fury?
I like the
Alexa
5 Feet of Fury.
Bliss?
I've met the 5 Feet of Fury twice back when she was in NXT. She is such a awesome, nice person, man. She is.
Dude, she's great in the ring. She's got better on the mic. She's a badass heel. She's got the mannerisms, the facial expressions. She knows how to put someone off in the ring when she has to, and she knows how to kick. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say the 5 Feet of Fury is gonna keep her women's title.
You pointed out everything that is Alexa Bliss, but I feel Nia. They're going to give it to Nia, and I feel that they're going to go back and forth with the belt, But
that's good. That's good.
Yeah, because say Nia gets the belt, it's going to take for Alexa to get the belt back. It's going to take help from Mickie James to help her get the belt back in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, good old Mickie James. Yeah, I have a feeling about that as well, but we'll find out. But if Alexa Bliss wins, I'm going to hit you up on Facebook and go, "I was right, bitch."
Oh man,
that's funny.
This match right here, I'm looking forward to seeing because it was rumored that this was going to happen, this next match.
Okay.
But Raw, the way they worded it and said it on Raw, you believe that it was going to happen until Fastlane. We're talking about Asuka versus Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
Oh, dude, Asuka's going to win it. She's going to tear up.
She's
going to tear up Charlotte, dude. She's been due for that belt. She's going to take that belt from Charlotte. Don't get me wrong. Charlotte can wrestle, and she's crisp in the ring, but I think Asuka's going to end up winning that title.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe, Asuka's going to win it. Charlotte, they're going to have one hell of a match. Asuka reminds me of, in terms of Umaga, the Sabulan bulldozer, going through people. She already went through everyone on Raw. It's like, jump over to SmackDown now and just think about the matches too. She could, Asuka versus, Charlotte, which we'll see. Asuka versus Becky. Asuka versus, who else is on there? Naomi. Yeah, there you go. I mean,
and Natty. Don't forget Natty and Ruby Riott and her Riott squad.
Yeah, you got all those people there. You definitely do. You have all those people that are on SmackDown that you could see, have some matches. But there's one thing we cannot forget about. I just thought of this just now. What if Carmella cashes in on one of these women's matches? Think about that.
Ooh, that's good. But every time she runs and does that, they just tease it, and then something always messes up. She ends up tripping, or she freaks out, or something goes wrong. But I'm dying to see if she really does it. We'll have to find out, man. That's a good question.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at what if, I mean, like WrestleMania 31, Seth Rollins, okay.
It came out and surprised everybody. Yeah, with the Money in the Bank.
Right. You know, as like I was telling my wife, what do you remember for WrestleMania 31? I said, the main event. She's like, Seth Rollins cashing in. I said, exactly. That moment right there, everyone remembers. And I was just having a conversation. I said, everyone's forgot about the fact that earlier that day, he got his ass kicked by Randy Orton. He got RKO'd out of nowhere in mid-air, you know, trying to do a curb stomp. People's forgot about that. Just right now, it's like, every once in a while, I like how they tease her cashing in just to remind you. It's like she has that because you forget about it.
Yep.
And then it comes out. She will cash in on one of these matches. If I have a feeling she may jump over to Raw and cash in there, you know?
Ooh, I could see that. Mm-hmm. That would be wild.
Yeah.
Say Nia beat Alexa Bliss.
Yes.
Say that happened.
Yes.
And then something happens, like Mickie James will interfere on Nia or something, and then you see Carmella sneaking in, cashing it in, and winning the Raw's Women's Championship. That would be a trip.
Yeah, or have Nia just obliviate Alexa, and she barely wins while she's laying there. All of a sudden, Carmella just comes in and cashes in on Alexa and takes the Raw Women's Championship. There you go.
No, you can't do that to the Fight Theater Fury.
There, new storyline, man. New storyline. You know, imagine that they make they turn Alexa. They can turn her face. You know.
Oh, I can't picture Alexa being face though.
Yeah,
she's better as a heel.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my gosh.
I know. But they could do that, or they could turn to Carmella face, you know, and then have Alexa get all mad.
I can see Carmella going face. She can do either or. But the one thing about Carmella is, I'll tell you something, man. A lot of people probably hate me on this when I say this. Carmella can't wrestle worth a lick in the ring, man.
She's not that great. She's not.
She doesn't got the rhythm. I mean, she was a professional, you know, NBA cheerleader and this and that. But I'm sorry, she's not a good wrestler, man. She's worse than Lana. Worse, man.
I know. Lana. I mean, Lana's the only thing Lana has is the look. That's it. You know, that's it.
That's it. It's the look. It's like yum, you know. But that's about it.
I know. It is. Now we got one of my favorite guys. This guy's more over than Roman Reigns is. We're talking about the Raw Tag Team Championship match with Braun Strowman and a mystery partner versus The Bar.
Ooh, I got a good storyline on this. I may be wrong. I'm gonna predict this. You know who's?
Okay.
You know who I'm gonna say is gonna be Braun Strowman's partner?
Who's that?
You're gonna trip out on this. It's gonna be Big Cass because he got cleared to come back to WWE. How much you want to bet Big Cass shows up and ends up being Braun's partner?
Oh, dude, that would be great. That would be great. Having Big Cass and Braun Strowman, that would be awesome. That would be, and they could finally do something. I mean, they could do something good with Cass. Jeez.
Oh yeah, it's good. It would be great. I love Cass, but think about it, because he got cleared, you know, because he's been out hurt, and he finally got cleared by the WWE doctors. So wouldn't that be cool if he showed up on WrestleMania and said, "Hey, Braun, let's do this and get those belts"?
Oh, dude, that would be awesome. That would be. I heard someone mention. They said, "What if they bring Lars Sullivan up from NXT to be his partner?"
Oh yeah, that would be epic, man.
That would.
Oh my gosh, him or Big Cass.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care who it is, whoever they bring, if it's him or Big Cass.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they would be the most dominant force on Raw. And if you grab those heavyweight, those tag titles, oh my gosh, nobody can stop them, man. They'll be like reigning for consecutive days.
Yeah, they would. They definitely would. Now, we got the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. You know, we got New Day versus the Bulgin Brothers and the Usos. I'm gonna have to go with the brothers on this.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Rowan and Harper as well.
Mm-hmm.
They've been deserving to get tag titles, and I think if they get it, they'll do pretty good, defending those titles. So I'm going to go for I'm going to root for the brothers as well, and say they're going to get the SmackDown tag belts.
Yeah, I'm looking for them to win it, and of course we got the cruiserweight title, the final for the cruiserweight, Cedric Alexander versus Mustafa Ali. Both fantastic.
Oh, I'm gonna go for Mustafa Ali, man. He's good in the ring, and I think he has something. I think he's going to be a rising star in the 205. So I'm going to go for him. He's going to get the belt.
Yeah, definitely. And then of course we got Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle versus Triple H and Stephanie McMahon.
I'm going to go for Ronda and Kurt, but Stephanie and Triple H, there'll be a way where they're going to end up cheating, or they're going to end up making Kurt and Ronda jobbers to that match, like what Triple H did to Sting and buried him in the WWE.
Yeah, they're going to. That was one hell of a match, though. Triple H and Sting.
Yeah, but
well,
they should have let Sting win, man. I mean,
they
he's the only guy in wrestling history that never wrestled for the E, and bringing him in and destroying him like that, making him like he sucks and stuff. That wasn't cool at all, man. They should at least let him win that from Triple H, but instead, we're going to make Sting job against Triple H, and I thought that was so wrong, man.
It was, but there was a good moment you had. You had the NWO versus D-Generation X.
Well, they made NWO look like little old men barely walking and making Generation X like they were like young and youthful. And then when Shawn Michaels did that super kick on Sting, I'm like, what the fuck, man?
I know. I think what it was WWE burying WCW for good. Yeah. I just wish Sting would have won. I do. I just wish they would have won.
I did, and it would have been cool instead of coming through the whole, Crow gimmick, the Crow gimmick. I would have loved him came back as the Surfer Sting with the blonde hair, the different color makeup, the butch haircut, and coming in like that. That would have been cool. And I also got a good story to tell you too. I had a question and answer with Kevin Sullivan, and back in the day, Kevin Sullivan booked the WCW talent and decided what to go. Did you know he was the one that convinced Hulk Hogan to turn heel for the NWO?
Really?
Yep, he sat and talked with them, and Hogan agreed with him, and he told Kevin, he's like, yeah, let's do it. Let me go heel. Kevin Sullivan's the one that talked Hulk Hogan to be in a heel.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I remember that. Sting was going to be the third member, and then Hogan. Now Vince, I watched the whole thing about the Monday Night Wars on the network. Vince even gave credit. He said, "You know what? I never thought about doing that." He never did. He said that was smart. Business-wise, that was smart because it revived Hogan's career, man.
Oh, it did. And then, and then Kevin Nash and Scott Hall together like that, they were unstoppable. But the one bad thing that made their downfall in the NWO was they kept on adding, more members, and they just kept it the 3, and that was it.
Yeah, they should have. They definitely should have just kept it to 3. But, yeah, I mean, I'm hoping Hulk Hogan would show up in WWE ring again one day, just show up. It's going to take time after everything that happened and stuff. And I'd love to see Hogan just come back because he is like the Babe Ruth of wrestling,
Oh, yeah. I hope he does, too, because every time he comes back, he still gets all the crowd riled up. And no matter what he does, whatever scandals he's in or whatever he does, when he comes back, the people love him. And there was another story. I think it was a rumor. Remember the match when Chris Jericho wrestled Kenny Omega in Japan?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Chris Jericho was the second choice. You know who they wanted to wrestle Kenny Omega, but he demanded too much money, so they went to Jericho instead? Hulk Hogan.
Oh, really?
Hulk Hogan. Yep.
No way. Damn.
Yep.
That would have been something right there. That would have been. But it turned out great, man. It did. The build up on the social media with that match right there. Oh man, that was freaking great. I loved it when Jericho jumped Omega and hit him with the belt. Just classic Mid-South like angle, you know? And then the press conference was gold, man. There's Jericho sitting there, and all of a sudden you see Omega flying across the table, and just
it's good. It was classic 80s wrestling.
It was.
Where they started from the story from the beginning to the middle to the end.
Mm-hmm.
It was classic wrestling at its finest. And like today, I wish it would go back to stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. I know. It was like, when was the last time you seen a guy actually get hit in the head with a belt and bust him open? It's been forever, man. Flair, we saw it happen to him like a million times, man, but it was awesome to see it. Like, oh, damn, there he is, you know. It's like, you know, we got JR. Oh, my God, he's broke him in half. You know, there he is all bleeding, you know, all over and stuff.
I know,
you know,
right?
it's like, you love it. You know, it's like, holy shit. You don't get that no more, you know.
Oh, you don't, man.
You don't get that. You know, I just miss it. I definitely do. But one thing I guess a lot of people wanted to do. We're gonna switch gears here.
Okay.
One thing that a lot of people I guess wanted to do was actually, you know, take a belt to Roseanne last night on TV.
Oh God, that was the greatest. I loved it last night.
Yeah, did you caught that, didn't you? The Roseanne, the return of Roseanne, man. It was great.
Oh, that was some great blue collar dysfunctional family stuff that today's families would talk about today, which was so great.
Yeah.
They had everything from political to sexual identity to everything. It was just classic, everyday dysfunctional or classic blue collar family TV. It was just great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was so great. It definitely was. It was just fantastic. One thing I was wondering about was how the hell are they going to get two Beckys on the show? You know what I mean?
Oh, that was so funny. And if you notice on last night's episode, they joked around. It's like, oh wow, we look like each other. We can be like sisters.
I know. I love the puns. I love the puns, man. I love the beginning of the show. It's like Dan. Oh, I thought you were dead.
I know, and he's breathing out that little breathing thing. He's like, why does everybody think I'm dead?
I know. I just love the puns back to the original. You know what I mean? It was just so great.
God.
It was so fantastic. I just loved it. It was just great. I loved it.
It's funny.
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me of Roseanne back in the day. I watched Roseanne when it first came on ABC back, in like late '80s, early '90s, man. And it's still the same. It's like they never left TV.
I know. It was just like they never left. It definitely was, because you got Darlene's son, who basically is kind of like feminine, not masculine. And Dan, the grandpa's wanting his grandson to be a man, the knife and the thing with the knife. And then you got Becky, who basically it's like she's trying to figure out some way to make pay her bills, and being a surrogate is something. And with her being it's like her at 43 trying to have a child. And then of course you had the argument going back and forth with Roseanne and her sister, was just It was.
Yeah, where Jackie was wearing the pink pussy hat.
I know. And then it's like, all right, let's sit here at the table. Let's say grace. And Roseanne looks at her sister and says, "Go ahead, Jackie. Go ahead, take a knee."
Yeah, that was funny too, man. And I'm sorry, when I was picturing Jackie on there last night, I was thinking, I go, that's Sheldon's mom.
I know. I see her as Sheldon's mom now, and I see Darlene as someone who screwed around with Leonard, and it's just. and what's funny is Leonard, he was on Roseanne. The guy who plays Leonard on Big Bang Theory, he was on Roseanne.
Yeah.
I know.
Galecki.
Yeah,
he's going to be on. He's going to be on one episode of this season of Roseanne.
He needs to.
No, he did. He filmed a episode with them.
Oh.
So I don't know when it's. So he's going to be on one of the episodes. He can only do one because he's busy with Big Bang Theory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Big Bang Theory let him go and film an episode on Roseanne. So we'll see him this season for one episode on Roseanne.
That's cool. And then of course DJ, he only had one little small part because it was mostly, DJ would pop in and out, and there were some episodes that had DJ involved and stuff though. But this one is mostly about the daughters, where they're at and stuff. Yeah. But they established DJ, which was good, and we'll see more of him. We definitely will see more of him. And
of course we will. And then he also mentioned there. Remember there on the finale where Roseanne and Dan had another kid, Jerry. Mm-hmm. They mentioned him on the show last night, but they said he was like in the service, overseas somewhere, and he couldn't like contact him. So
yeah. I'm looking forward to this, and seeing what's going to happen with the show, with this reboot and stuff. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. I think it's coming back at the right time with everything that's going on in this country, from being left to right, down the middle, everything. And people are raising hell because of who Roseanne supports for political stance. People forgotten that over time in TV, there was a lot of TV characters on TV shows that were basically like Republican, say like, I got a list right here I'm looking at. Here's one, for example, one of my favorites from that 70s show, Red Foreman. He was a Republican,
Oh, yeah, he was a straight Republican. Yeah. That was obvious.
Yeah. Yeah. Don Draper from Mad Men. He definitely was. You can tell, from the TV show Mad Men.
Was.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think we mentioned before we started going live tonight that being Democratic, Murphy Brown, Yep. Yeah. And then
she was straight Democratic, and don't forget Frazier too.
Frazier, yeah. What was Frazier?
I don't know what he was. I may be wrong on this. I think he probably was Democrat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people's forgot about this. They're raising hell about Roseanne. Like, it's like once you go back and look at these. Oh, here's one for you. Family Ties. Michael J. Fox's character.
Keaton.
Yeah.
Alston Keaton was straight Republican.
Yeah.
He supported Ronald Reagan when he was president.
Exactly. People forget about this stuff, And it's like once you go back and forget about that, what I hate to say is if it's not now or current, then that's it. If it's beforehand, we don't know and we don't want to know. But when you call someone out on it, they're like, huh? They get all upset at you. It's like...
Well, they do. And the thing about it is, and if you're going to get in a debate with somebody, whatever it is, you better make sure you did a lot of research and better make sure you can back it up.
Yes. Yes. I think that's one thing that a lot of people don't do. And they just call it out. And when you call their bluff on something, then they get mad, man. They definitely get mad.
Yeah, and it's sad how it's like going like this, man. This country's separated and stuff, and we should be all together, supporting each other instead of hating on each other, regardless of your sexuality or race or political, like you're right or left or between or anything. We shouldn't be like fighting over stuff like that. We should be focusing on, America getting back together again, making this into a great nation again, instead of being a nation of divided, man. That's where it's going, and it's so sad, And then also nowadays, everybody's getting offended of everything. You can't really say anything unless someone will get hurt or offended, You have to be careful what you say nowadays around people, because sometimes you say something, you can get in some serious trouble.
Yeah, you definitely can. Yeah.
You know how I see it is? Me, I'm this type of person. I don't care what political you are. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what this and this. It's like this, man. I like you for who you are. You treat me good, I'm going to treat you good. I'm not going to judge you for what you want to do, and and I don't want to be judged for what I do. I don't get into all that jargon, man. I'm just me. I'm enjoying what I do. I love my wrestling. I love my comics. I love my conventions.
Yeah.
I love doing my travels. I love meeting new people. It's like, I like meeting all kinds of people. I really don't care what political agenda you are or whatever, man. If you're cool with me, I'm cool with you. And that's how I am, man. That's how it should be, instead of everybody being divided. It just pisses me off.
It is. It's messed up how that happens, and just how people just get divided, and it just gets me. One thing about being divided is Lars Ulrich. And just the conversation of Metallica.
Oh, the whole Metallica, the 4 big bands, where they would be up there with Slayer and who was the other?
Megadeth,
Slayer,
Anthrax.
Megadeth, Anthrax. Yeah, and the reason why Lars is talking about that is the cool thing why Metallica is still mainstream is they have their own little Metallica world, their own originality, and they do everything what they want to do, and they're like the misfits of metal. That's what they are.
Yeah.
And that's why they're still around today, is because they're misfits of metal. They do their own thing, and everybody still likes them, regardless if you're an old school Metallica fan to a new school Metallica fan, they're still around kicking, and it's a trip.
It is. It's like he's talked about, it was, I believe the article was from blabbermouth.net. I love going to that website, reading about music and stuff. Lars was asked, like you just said, about, the other big 4. And, he said, I don't want to sell anyone down the river here. He says, all these bands are friends of ours, peers of ours, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for each one. He says, but, they're like misfits and stuff, and they get to do what they do. It's just because one thing I think is, and like you said, I mean, you took the words out of my mouth. And my opinion and how I feel is that I guess Metallica, they created a big fan base. And then they took that fan base with them to the mainstream. That's why they did so successful. They did. Now, you hear Metallica on the radio, you're going to listen to Metallica. If they put out an album, you're definitely going to download it or you stream it or go buy it.
To check it out if you're going to like it or not. Yeah. And plus, when they go into concerts, their concerts sell out like hotcakes, man.
Yeah, they do. Just like Jason Newsted said back in the day. He's like, yes, we sell out every seat in the house. They do. They do.
From nosebleed to floor to VIP, it's sold out.
It is. It definitely is. And I love it. I love them. I listen to their music. I never get tired of listening to their music. Even like I got in my car, I got Sirius XM. I listen to the metal stations and like liquid metal and Octane. When Metallica comes on, I crank that thing, man. And I'm going down the road.
I do too.
Yeah,
I don't care, man. Yeah. And I also have the dial on Hair Nation and also Lithium as well, because I love my grunge and my alternative rock. I think metal and rock from the 80s all the way up to the early 90s was the shit. And I think after the 90s, it went all downhill music-wise. That's my opinion.
Yeah, it's not that great. I go back and listen to the oldies and stuff and everything. I love it. You know, that's my music. You know, I love it. The 90s, the 80s, the hard rock and stuff. I listen to a wide variety of music. You know, I just love it.
Oh, I do too. And don't get wrong. Sometimes on the dial, I'll go back to the 80s station or the 90s station. It just depends what mood I'm in.
Yeah, my wife keeps it on the 90s on 9.
Oh,
she keeps it on there. They play some songs and stuff I remember and everything, and I like it. And then there's some songs I just want to forget.
I know, it's like, really? Like Aqua, for example.
Yeah.
Why did Aqua come out?
I know.
Were they named after a hairspray back in the 80s? Aquanet? No, I'm just kidding.
Damn!
Oh my god, that was a good one. I'll tell you one soundtrack I think is great was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. That soundtrack was great, man. You know.
I'll tell you a great soundtrack if you want a soundtrack back in the late 80s, early 90s. The movie sucked, but soundtrack kicked ass. Was The Last Action Hero.
Yeah, that was great, man. Last Action Hero was fantastic. Yeah, that movie was cool. You had Megadeth, you had AC/DC, Big Guns. I had the Last Action Hero poster on my door to my room. It says, "Knock first. If you don't, you'll make a big mistake." It was cool. I loved it.
Let's get on the chopper. Let's get on to the chopper.
The what? Oh, yeah.
Let's
Okay. You threw me off there. I was like, what? Let's get to the chopper.
Yeah.
You got to go on.
And another story we can talk about, too. Miz and Maurice just had their daughter today at 11:40 p.m.
Yeah.
And her name is Monroe Sky. How do you pronounce Mrs. last name? Is it Masan or Masoon? Or something like that.
I think. Yeah.
And the kid debuted 2 weeks before WrestleMania, so that gives the Miz, more room to get ready for WrestleMania. Now you go wrestle at WrestleMania, since Monroe Sky was born, earlier before WrestleMania.
Yeah. Now I'm wondering if he's gonna drop the belt now. Because I was wondering if that was going to happen, with him, wanting to be with his kid and stuff and everything.
Something I would. I mean, for being a wrestler, having a family, being a wrestler, it's very hard because you're on the road like 180 days a year, and And it's hard, man, because there's a lot of wrestlers that are married and, have kids, hardly ever see their kids. Some stay with them and some get divorces. That would be hard. And, and if I was in Miz's situation, man, I would drop that Intercontinental belt and go spend some time with my kid for a little bit before I start not being on the road, not seeing my kid or, wife at all, man.
Mm-hmm.
Get some family, drop the belt, get some family time for a little bit, get to know your daughter, and then once you're ready, just come back and wrestle.
Yeah. I have a picture I just pulled up online here. This is from their Instagram account, the Miz's Instagram. This is right here, a screenshot right there. It shows the Miz's hand on top of his wife with their baby daughter grabbing her little tiny hand around Maurice's thumb. And
I saw that on Twitter. Yeah, they did it on Twitter too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that looks fantastic, man. That looks so great. I'm happy for him. What's that?
I am too, and he's such an ugly dude, but he's got a hot wife and a healthy daughter, man. Good for him.
I know. That is so great, and I want to say congratulations to the Miz and Maurice. and their beautiful, healthy daughter.
Yeah, I'm glad for them, man. And I bet Miz would be a good dad too outside the ring. He probably would, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he probably would, man. He definitely probably would be, a great. Yeah, he definitely would be a great dad. I mean, it's like, hey, my dad's the Miz, and he's awesome.
I can see him. I can see him when the kid gets a little bit older, and he'll do the stuff what Matt Hardy does with his kids.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
little
like
Wolfgang.
It's like, dude. It's like, what is? How is your dad? It's like, my dad is awesome. Or what is your dad like? He's awesome.
or they go up to Matt Hardy's kid and goes, so what do you think your dad? Delete.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
Hey, I'll tell you something about the whole Matt Hardy Woken gimmick.
Uh-huh.
Do you think his Woken gimmick is more watered down in WWE than it was over in Impact?
I think it is. I believe it is. It is because I feel, like with the whole thing that went on with the lawsuit and with Impact going back with WWE, if we didn't have that and that was settled right away, I think we would have seen Broken or Awoken or some shape of broken Matt Hardy already. WWE would have pulled the trigger. I think that they are kind of watering it down a little bit, though, but it's a side that it goes back to the casuals. A lot of the casuals never did get to see this side of Matt Hardy in Impact, because it's WWE and that's it. So it's new to them, and people who've seen it before, I'm sure they're happy and excited about it, but at the same time, I think it's just a little bit watered down, but it is entertaining. It is.
Oh, it is. And the thing, speaking of casuals, I know some casuals who are just straightly, WWE, and that's it, I try to, talk to them. It's like, hey, man, let's go see an indie promotion, or, hey, why don't you check out, Ring of Honor or New Japan or, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla or something. Let's check it. They'll be like, no, I'm just WWE. I don't care for any other wrestling, blah, blah, blah. It's like... I don't understand that because, like we talked about earlier in the show, indie wrestling is getting popular than ever what it was before, man.
Mm-hmm. It is. It is. It is getting more popular than bigger and than what it was before, and it's so becoming so big and stuff. I mean, especially with the New Japan. Strong Style Evolved. Did you get a chance to see that, or did you read about it?
Oh my gosh, the Golden Lovers taking on the Young Bucks was the most beautiful, epic match ever.
Mm-hmm. That was awesome. That was so great. The story and everything with that was just so fantastic, man. It was so great. It definitely was. Two matches that I loved about that, is I loved the tag team match that they had quite a bit of tag team match, though, but I definitely liked the David Finlay and Juice Robinson match.
Oh, my gosh. That was great, man.
Yeah.
It was a great, solid match, and it kept me on the edge of my seat, and I haven't seen a match like that in wrestling in a long time, man. I enjoyed the hell out of that match.
Yeah, that was freaking awesome. I loved it. I loved the Chucky T and the Toro Yano versus the Killer Elite Squad, Davey Boy Smith Jr., I believe it was.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you something. People may hate on him. He may not get good in the E, but ever since he's been in Ring of Honor and Japan and everywhere, Davey Boy Smith Jr. has impressed the hell out of me, man. That guy is getting good in the ring, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's fantastic, man. He definitely is. He's definitely fantastic in the ring. He's a good talent. He definitely is. One thing that I didn't get to watch yet because I've been watching it here and there the last few days. I didn't get to watch the one because I've been kind of jumping back and forth within it and stuff. I did want to watch those tag matches and the Cody Rhodes and Marty Scurll versus the Gorillas of Destiny. That was a hell of a match there.
Oh, I enjoyed that as well. I mean, Cody Rhodes, man, is just golden in the ring, man. He's got the great gimmick. He's got the charisma. He wrestles smooth in the ring. He can put somebody over real good on whoever he's with. Oh my gosh. You know, I have nothing I don't hate Cody Rhodes at all. He's just good, period. Yeah. And you know, he's better off in the Indies than he was in the E, man. And if his dad Dusty Rhodes was alive, rest in peace, Dusty, his dad would be so proud of him, man.
Yeah, he definitely would be. He definitely would be so proud of him. One match I do gotta watch is I want to watch the IWGP United States Championship match with Jay White versus Hangman Page. I didn't.
Oh my gosh,
I
saw that. I'm not gonna ruin it for you. I saw it and I enjoyed it. It was good. That's all I have to say.
Jay White's great, man. Jay White is just fantastic. Both of them are great, man. They're both spectacular performers in the ring. Both of them are.
Hangman Page wouldn't be where he's at if he wasn't part of the Bullet Club. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah. It's great that both of them are just fantastic. But I'm going to go back and I'm going to finish watching that.
When you do, after you watch it, hit me up on Facebook and tell me what you thought of it. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who's seen it because I hate people when they go, you know, online and spoil everything. It's like motherfucker. Don't you be spoiling that.
I know. It's like my nephew. He contacted me one time. I think it was like right around Ring of Honor when I think it was I think Cody or Christopher Daniel. Someone, or no, it was NXT. One of the NXT pay-per-views, when Samoa Joe won the NXT title, I was waiting to see that. I was at work at the time, and my nephew texted me, and I looked at the phone, he was like, Samoa Joe won the NXT title? I'm like, really? It's like, come on, man. And I told him, I was like, don't do that. So I went ahead and watched Ring of Honor before he did, and I think it was when... it was I'm trying to remember the championship match because I think it was Jay Lethal. I think it was Jay Lethal and Adam Cole, or I can't believe someone won the Ring of Honor. The title changed hands. So I texted him back and I'm like, dude, I was like, Ring of Honor pay-per-view, blah, 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 won the title. So I got him back on that.
That is crazy.
I know. I got him back because I told him, because it's like he quit telling me about, you know, who wins what, because I tell him ahead of time. I'm like, he's like, yeah, man, I just saw it. I was like, don't tell me. I was like,
gosh. And speaking of that is worse as well when somebody like ruins The Walking Dead for you too. I'm a huge Walking Dead fan and feared, and same thing. But I've been a little bit disappointed on this season of Walking Dead. It's just been dragging and filler episodes and everything. You know, it's you know, it hasn't been really good. And the season finale better be good, or I'll be pissed.
Yeah. Now I watched half of season 7 of The Walking Dead. I didn't watch all of 8 yet. It's just because I've kind of fell off a little bit, but I want to go back and finish watching it and get caught up with it, which I will, because I've done that with a few TV shows where I basically miss out a whole season, and when the summer hits, boom, there I am. You know, I'm just hitting it, you know.
Yeah. I'm like that too. I like to binge as well, and I love a DVR. Whoever invented the DVR, I'll give them a big kiss on the lips. I don't care if it's a male or a woman. I'll be like,
Right.
come here.
You said you
Go
love
ahead.
Fear the Walking Dead.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for this season, man. They're gonna have some new characters. Morgan's is coming over there.
Yeah.
They got some kind of a gunslinger character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I ended up with Fear the Walking Dead. I watched the first season and half of the second season. That's another show I got to get caught up with. I kind of know what's happening here and there, but I know some characters have dropped off. I don't know who's dropped off or what.
Yeah.
You know, there's probably 2 characters I've noticed that I haven't seen in a lot of promos or hear about talking. So I figured they got killed, but I want to go back and watch and see how they got killed. And it's like hearing Morgan coming on the Fear the Walking Dead for this season is going to be great because the actor, he's just a fantastic actor, and it's gonna after a while I watched the trailer. I want to watch this now, man. It's like I want to go back and watch
do too.
this.
And you see the new characters, and did you see the trailer with the gunslinging guy?
Yeah.
He had that 6-shooter, and it's like, oh, dude, he looked badass, man.
Mm-hmm. I know. It's like I definitely want to like go and watch this now. Just get caught up and watch that show because it's so great.
Yeah, I'm a huge Walking Dead fan, and I do the Walker Stalker every year. I've met 95% of the Walking Dead cast.
Mm-hmm. Damn, that's great. That is great,
dude. If you go onto my Facebook albums and hit Walking Dead, you'll shit your pants of all the actors I've met, and I've also got another album of all the film locations of certain places where they filmed that. I got pictures of as well.
Dude, that is great. I'm gonna have to look that up, man. I definitely am gonna have to hit that up. One thing I'm looking forward to is production has started on the Captain Marvel. You're a big comic book fan, are you not?
Yeah, you're looking for Marvel's Captain America, not Captain America, Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
What about the other Captain Marvel from DC that's coming out with the movie as well, Shazam?
Yeah, Shazam. They're finally doing Shazam, man. I can't believe that after all this time, they're actually doing Shazam. I not read too much into that though, but how is what do you know that I don't know about it? Inform me.
Zachary Levi, you know who he is. He's like a big, nerd icon, geek and stuff.
Yeah.
He plays the role of Shazam, and they're going to have a cameo. Supposedly it's supposed to be a cameo as Henry Cavill, Superman's supposed to show up, but I know it's a rumor, but we just don't know. And the thing I don't like about the Shazam costume, they're going by the DC New 52 Shazam costume. They're not going to the classic costume Shazam, which would have been pretty cool, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And Shazam was Captain Marvel before they brought Captain Marvel for Marvel Comics.
Right.
So when Captain Marvel, popped up in Marvel, they go, okay, you guys can do Captain Marvel, and we'll just keep it Shazam. Because Shazam was originally Captain Marvel.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm also excited for the Captain Marvel film as well, with Brie Larson. I'm dying to see how that's going to go good, and if she's going to show up on Avengers: Infinity War.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to know how that's going to go into it because apparently this is going to be coming out after the first Infinity War, and I'm wondering about how they're going to be doing Ant-Man and the Wasp because these movies are going to be right after or in between the first and second Infinity War movies, and they haven't even gave the title of the second, movie because they said if they put out the title, it will basically ruin the whole movie because of the title, and it may have a name in the title. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to seeing what this title is going to be called for the second Infinity War movie of the Avengers.
Me too. Yeah, me too. And I also heard after they do these like final Marvel films, they're going to reboot the whole Marvel movie universe again, with different actors portraying the characters.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to be doing something different. They're going to be repeating something and going back, and they're going to be. They got movies slated for 2020, 2021, 2022. They have that they're going to be bringing out and doing stuff with, and they're possibly going to be bringing out new characters and making sequels of people and stuff. I mean, for instance, look, Captain Marvel. Within when that comes out, I mean, they can do at least like two sequels off of that. Ant-Man, they could at least do probably one more or another one. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
it's just like Guardians of the Galaxy. They could still throw another one out there. And Black Panther, look at that. Look how many more. It's gonna go. It's gonna keep going.
See, and the thing is, I'm a huge DC fan, don't get me wrong, and, I go see the DC movies as well, but I'll go see Marvel as well, but I'm not a Marvel Comics fan. But the thing about it is, DC needed to did what Marvel did. Instead of rushing everything, filming a half-mass of everything to keep up with Marvel, just do what Marvel did. Take your time, build the DC movie universe up, do the different films of the characters, before jumping into, Justice League. If they did that slowly on a certain character and build that up, those movies could be just as good as Marvel films.
Yeah.
Like for example, Wonder Woman was awesome. That was the best DC movie, today that came out, for the new DC films, like Justice League. That movie, you can tell that movie was rushed, and, they had to reshoot a bunch of stuff, this and this, and, it wasn't really a good movie at all, and I'm a DC fan, and I'm saying this, it's like Justice League wasn't that really good,
I haven't watched it yet. I watched Wonder Woman the other night. Actually, not the other night.
What'd you think of Wonder Woman?
I enjoyed it. Because I was talking with a friend of mine who said, they didn't really like it, didn't understand it. I said, well, look at it this way. The whole movie of Wonder Woman is about a story behind a picture. Because you know how when you see pictures, it's like, what's the story behind this? That was the whole movie. And I thought it was great. It was great storytelling. It was like, she gets that picture from Bruce, and he found the original and sends it back to her, and he's like, please, I'd love to hear the story. You tell me the story about this one day. And she's sitting there, and she's looking at the picture, and she's thinking of the story. So you get to see it.
And that's so, that was so great about it, because the director who directed it was a huge Wonder Woman fan, and, she put passion into the film. That's why it was so good, If they hired more people on DC films that had the passion for that character, these DC films would be phenomenal, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they would though. But they want every movie to be in how Zack Snyder, does movies. They want that tone. It's like, come on, man, you're killing it.
Well, something. They're doing that tone. But if you have casual fans that don't read DC Comics, because if you read DC Comics have more of a darker tone than Marvel Comics, and then if you don't read Marvel or DC, if you're just a casual fan that like the movies, you're not going to get the whole dark tone of DC, if you don't know about the DC Comics, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, that's true. I agree with you right there, man. That is true. Totally.
It is, because if you read DC Comics, they're more darker than Marvel comics are,
Yeah.
They just are, It's hard to explain unless you picked up a comic, and you got casual movie fans that don't know nothing about the comics, but do enjoy the movies, it's like, when I go see like a DC or Marvel film, I always go in with an open mind. I don't critique it, because you'll have the diehard fanboys out there that ruin it for everybody, and they critique everything. It's like, that's not how this should be. It's like, come on, man, it's a movie. Just go in there with an open mind. You're either going to like it or not. Just enjoy it,
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember when I was a kid, we would always talk about, what happened if they did an Avengers movie or a Justice League movie where, all the heroes are on the big screen, We talked about that for years, and then look at now, it finally, came to reality.
Yeah, it did. It did. I loved that they did Thor when they brought Thor out on the big screen. The 12-year-old in me was jumping for joy, like, oh my God, it's freaking Thor on the big screen. And I loved it. I definitely loved it.
And that's the same thing with Captain America. When Captain America first came out, I was fanboying like a little girl, going, "Oh my gosh, I can see Captain America on the big screen."
Mm-hmm.
But you also have to remember too, Captain America was actually on the screen before. If you go back to the 40s, they were in serials. You had like the Batman, Captain America, Shazam. Who else? What was the other hero they had on there? The Rocketeer. All those characters back in the day were in serials.
Right.
And a lot of people today, if you don't know what a serial is, it's like different chapters. They'll be like for 5 minutes, because when you went to the movies back into the like 30s and 40s, you had a newsreel, you had a cartoon, you had a comedy short, you had a serial, and then you had the movie. It's not like how it is today.
Right. Yeah, I forgot about that, but I'm glad you brought that up there, because I sometimes forget about stuff like that right there, and it's neat how they came up and put stuff out like that back in those times. It definitely is.
Yeah, and something, and me, I still like going to the movie theater, but now everybody's downloading stuff and this and this. I'm afraid movie theaters are going to disappear and go away, and I don't want that to happen. I like to go to a movie, to see it. I know everything's downloaded. You can call me a fossil. I still like to have the Blu-ray in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
I still like to have a book and comic book in my hand.
Yeah.
I don't want to go ahead and download it and read it. I want it in my hand.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and I totally get that. One thing down the live stream there, Doug mentioned the Death of Superman is being brought out this summer. I gotta be
animated film.
Yeah,
yes.
Animated. Yeah, it definitely is, because that right there, the Death of Superman, is one of DC's most successful and most bad comics, because it made them so much money. And then when the story came out about after, with the 4 people coming out saying I'm Superman, and the story behind that, it killed DC there for a while in the comic industry. It was a double-edged sword for him with the Death of Superman. It helped him.
Oh, or look at back in the 80s when they did the Death of Jason Todd Robin, where they gave you a 1-800 number. You would call to put Jason Todd's fate on the line. Does he live or does he die? That was another great popular storyline in DC as well. Or another example of DC was Justice League's The Tower of Babel, another great one. Or you can go back and do Marv Wolfman and George Perez's Teen Titans. Comic and Marvel. I read a few Marvel comics rocked in the early 90s, man. The whole Daredevil run in the 90s was great. X-Men in the early 90s was great because, it spun off to the animated cartoons as well.
Yeah.
Like X-Men, Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And, see, Marvel kicks ass at the movie theater, the movies, but DC kicks ass on TV and the animated films.
Exactly.
That's what I think.
Exactly. They do. They definitely do. They kick butt. They definitely do kick butt on the small screen. Marvel rules the big screen. DC rules the small screen. Look at the CW shows. I watch Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, and Supergirl. Fox has Gotham. Look at that right there. There you go.
Yeah, Gotham.
Yeah.
And then Sci-Fi, I don't know if you watched it, they got Krypton now.
Yeah, I see that. I'm kind of iffy about that because, with them, I'm a little bit iffy. Brainiac looks freaking awesome.
Yeah,
He looks
yeah,
awesome.
he does. He's coming to Candor, where it's about Superman's grandfather,
Right.
and then you see Adam Strange coming back from the time, given his Kal-El's grandfather his original Superman cape.
Right.
Then it's slowly like melting in time. It's like, hey, you need to do this, or Superman will never be born, because on Krypton, the House of Kal-El was, the House of El was destroyed. So, he's secretly getting back, trying to get the House of El built back up.
Right.
And then you see Adam Strange, wearing a Detroit Tigers baseball cap and a hoodie from the future, which is weird. I'd rather see him in the red and white spacesuit with the helmet and see him in a hoodie with a Detroit Tigers hat.
I know. That is crazy. That is. I'll probably end up checking it out to see how it goes, because there's a lot of great comic book, TV shows on there. I mean, I love the Netflix shows they got with Marvel, with Daredevil, Jessica Jones.
Is great.
Yeah,
Punisher is great.
I'm halfway done with that finally. It's because it take me. I'm almost done. I think I got about probably like 4 more episodes, and I'm finished. And I'm gonna jump over and start catching up with Jessica Jones.
Yeah, I haven't got a chance to watch season 2 yet.
Yeah,
I need to start jumping on that too. And then in June, Luke Cage season 2 comes back. So and then another great show I watched on Netflix. I don't know if you've ever seen. Have you ever seen the Santa Clarita Diet?
No, I think I've heard about it. I think someone told me about that
show.
It
has Drew Barrymore in it and Josh Duhamel. I can't pronounce his last name. Duhamel.
Mm-hmm.
And they live in this like regular neighborhood, like a cul-de-sac neighborhood. And Drew Barrymore is a zombie, and she has to eat flesh and stuff, and and they go after all the bad people. And it's funny because Josh plays her airhead husband. He's like, what am I going to do? How am I going to find some food for my wife? Oh my gosh, it is great. You need to check it out. Santa Clarita Diet.
I definitely gotta check it out. If it has Drew Barrymore, I had a crush on her in the early '90s. Bad Girls was my favorite. Yeah, you had a crush on her
when she was in E.T.
Damn. Nah, I didn't. Well, we're gonna wrap this podcast up, but before I do,
I had fun, man.
Oh, I had fun, man. I had fun, man.
I hope your co-host has me on again. But go ahead and do your show.
But before we start closing up and stuff, there's a couple announcements I want to run, and we will jump into closing up this podcast. But I got
our plugs. Yes.
Yep, I'm gonna do some plugs here. First, I'm gonna do this plug right here for the Podcast City Network. Right here, I want to go ahead and play this right here, and let people know about what to expect out of the Podcast City Network.
Hey fans, here at Podcast City Network, we have a lot of great shows.
We have a wide variety of shows that cover the landscape in podcasts, a podcast for anyone and everyone.
Such as The Chris Garnett Show,
The Everett Lee Show,
ELS Uncut,
Super Radio Brothers,
Imaginarium with Scott and Todd,
Forking Around with Cody,
The Grimlock Show,
and Films of Classic.
You can catch these and a whole bunch more only on podcastcity.net or on all of our great social media outlets.
Head over to facebook.com/Podcast City Network. Hit that thumbs up. You can send a tweet to Podcast City Network on Twitter at Podcast City Net.
So make sure that you join us for all this only on Podcast City Network.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to follow Podcast City Network over on podcastcity.net for shows like this show here, The Everett Lee Show podcast, ELS Uncut, The Imaginarium with Scott and Todd, The Grimlock Show, Draft Day, brought to you by Podcast City Network, Chris Carnage Show, and Super Radio Brothers. You can listen to these shows and more on podcastcity.net and on Facebook. At facebook.com/Podcast City Network and on Twitter at Podcast City Net. And coming next month is the second annual Draft Day. That's right. Live at City Limits Tap Room in DeLand, Florida for 420, a food and reggae podcast with special guests starting at 7 p.m. Craig Thomas Project at 9 p.m. with special 420 theme menu by Cracker Jack's Mobile Kitchen. It all starts April 20th at 6 p.m. at City Limits Tap Room on 2620 North Woodland Boulevard. That's in DeLand, Florida. And City Limits Tap Room is the official sponsor for Draft Day of the Podcast City Network. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank my guest. As soon as I can find him, there he is. I got a screen with your picture and your podcast up. Robin Nelson, ladies and gentlemen. Tell people listening and watching where they can find more of you.
Okay, you can listen to my live podcast on WrestlePopcast on Spreaker.com. Just hit the follow button. You get the latest live episodes. And you can also listen to my live episodes at WrestlePopcast on iTunes. Hit the subscribe button and rate me. That helps me a lot. And you can follow my Facebook page at WrestlePopcast. And I'm also on Twitter at WrestleLow-Popcast. And I'm also on YouTube at WrestlePopcast. Hit the subscribe button. And you can also, hit me up on my regular Facebook page, Robin Nelson on Facebook. And another podcast I'm thinking about doing is, I haven't decided to do it. I'm thinking about doing a live Facebook podcast about the paranormal and bringing on paranormal investigators and people that talk about the paranormal. So that would be kind of neat, we talk about wrestling and also paranormal. So look for that in the future when that decides to pop around. And that's about it. And thank you so much for having me on your show. It was fun.
Awesome. Yeah, it definitely was fun. And you're welcome back anytime, man. You are welcome back anytime.
You better believe it, I will be.
I got to get you on here with my two co-hosts at the same time. Trying to line them up is basically like trying to line up a synchronized something in the Temple of Indiana Jones where you both have them on at the same time,
It's like you're looking for that lost ark or the lost covenant or something. It's like, where are my people?
Exactly. It definitely is. It definitely is.
Hey, something? I'm going to tell you something. It was a blast, man. Thank you so much, man. And I hope your listeners enjoyed me and they'll be like, this guy's kind of interesting.
You definitely are. And before we do close, I'm going to say you can follow the Everett Lee on Facebook at facebook.com/TheEverettLee. You can stop by there and click that like button. And also on Twitter at the Everett_Lee. And that is it for the Everett Lee Show podcast. Ladies and gentlemen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you again next week for another new exciting podcast of the Everett Lee Show. Peace.